You felt it. A moment so good your eyes betray you. A wedding, a reunion, a song that lands just right. And suddenly, warm water is sliding down your face. You're not sad. You're the opposite of sad. So why is your body doing the sad thing? Crying is supposed to mean pain. It's supposed to mean grief or hurt or loss. But your body, weirdly, refuses to color inside those lines. It cries when you laugh too hard. It cries when your team wins. It cries when a stranger hands you flowers. Not because something is wrong, because something is overwhelmingly right. And the real question isn't why we cry when we're sad. That one almost makes sense. The real question is why your body fires the exact same tear response when joy hits a certain threshold. Because here's the strange part. Emotional tears are something almost nothing else on Earth seems to do. Other animals produce tears, sure, but mostly to clean and protect their eyes, not because their hearts just exploded watching a baby take its first step. That's a human specialty, a weirdly human specialty. Across thousands of cultures, in every corner of the planet, humans cry from joy. It seems to be wired into the species, not learned from a movie. So let's slow it down and actually look at what's happening inside you in that moment. Picture the scene. Something beautiful is unfolding in front of you. Your chest tightens a little. Your throat does that strange clenching thing. Behind your eyes, you feel pressure building, like a tiny balloon inflating. That pressure isn't poetic. It's physical. Tucked just above each of your eyeballs sits a small almond-shaped factory called the lacrimal gland. It's always making a thin film of tears to keep your eyes from drying out. You just never notice. But in big emotional moments, that gland gets a very different order from upstairs. The signal comes from deep inside your brain, from a network that handles emotion, including a tiny region called the amygdala. When the amygdala lights up hard enough, joy, awe, love, grief, it doesn't really care which, it pings your autonomic nervous system. That's the part of you that runs the show without asking permission. Heartbeat, breathing, blushing, sweating, and yes, tears. The lacrimal glands get switched into overdrive, and suddenly that thin protective film becomes a flood. So mechanically, happy tears and sad tears come out of the exact same faucet, flipped on by the exact same wiring. Which raises an even better question. Why is that faucet wired to extreme joy at all? Why didn't evolution give us a separate, cuter response for happiness, like glowing, or humming, or anything other than the universal signal for I am not okay? Scientists actually have a few competing ideas about this, and they're still arguing, so treat what comes next as the leading theories, not settled facts. The first idea is about overload. Your nervous system has two main modes, very roughly, a go mode that revs you up, and a calm down mode that brings you back to baseline. When an emotion gets really intense, even a good one, your go mode spikes hard. Your heart pounds, your breath shortens, your body braces like something big is happening. Then your brain, sensing it's a bit too much, slams the brakes by flipping you into the calm down mode. And one of the side effects of that hard switch, some researchers think, is tears. In this theory, happy crying is basically your body's emergency cool-down system kicking in because the joy is too big to hold. You're not crying because you're sad. You're crying because the dial got cranked to 11 and your body is gently turning it back down. Which would explain the strange relief you feel right after a good cry, that heavy, melted, slightly tired calm. That's your nervous system exhaling. It's the same reason you sometimes laugh at funerals or feel a wave of giggles in the middle of a panic. Your wiring is rebalancing, sometimes by pulling the opposite lever. The second idea is even more interesting because it's social. Researchers like Oriana Aragon have pointed to something they call dimorphous expressions, when we react to one strong emotion with the outward signs of the opposite one. You see a tiny baby and want to squish its cheeks. You hear amazing news and punch the air like you're furious. You feel pure joy and your eyes start leaking sadness signals. The idea is that these mismatched expressions help our bodies regulate emotions that are simply too intense to sit in one mode. The cry is the release valve. The squish is the release valve. The I could just eat you up is the release valve. It sounds absurd, but think about how true it feels. You've probably done all three this month without noticing how strange they are. Now, here's the part that might actually rewire how you see crying. Human tears aren't just salty water, they're a chemical message, and emotional tears in particular seem to be different from the tears you make when you chop an onion. Studies have found that emotional tears contain higher levels of certain proteins and stress-related chemicals, suggesting that crying might literally help flush some of that emotional intensity out of your system. The research is still early, and not every scientist is convinced. But the idea that emotional tears are chemically unique is hard to shake once you've heard it. So when you sob with joy at a wedding, your body might be doing two things at once: releasing built-up stress chemistry and broadcasting a powerful social signal to everyone around you. Because tears are wildly visible, they are almost impossible to fake convincingly. They are the most honest thing your face can do. And there's evidence that just seeing tears on someone else's face changes how we feel toward them. It tends to soften us, pull us closer, make us want to help or hug or simply stay. Think about that for a second. Your tears are not just for you. They are a flare you send up so the people you love know exactly where you are emotionally. Which is probably why happy tears at weddings, reunions, graduations, and births feel so contagious. One person starts, and within seconds, half the room is wiping their eyes. You're not just witnessing their emotion. You are being recruited into it. It's an invisible thread linking every face in the room. A quiet, collective, yes, this matters. Quick pause. I'm genuinely curious about this one. When was the last time you cried happy tears, and what set it off? Was it a person, a moment, a song, a memory that ambushed you out of nowhere? Drop it in the comments. I want to read these. Okay, back to your face. Because there's one more piece of this puzzle, and it might be the most human piece of all. Happy tears tend to show up in moments of meaning, not just pleasure. You don't usually cry because pizza tastes great. You cry when your kid hugs you for no reason. You cry when an old friend walks through the airport doors. You cry when you finally finish something hard. You cry when you realize, mid-moment, that you'll remember this one forever. That suggests happy tears aren't really about happiness, they're about significance. They're your body's way of underlining a moment, circling it in highlighter and whispering, "Don't forget this one." Some researchers think this is part of why we form such strong memories around tearful moments. The intensity, the chemistry, the social bonding, it all stamps the experience deeper into your brain. So in a strange way, your happy tears are helping you build the highlight reel of your own life. The big days you tell stories about decades later, notice how many of them involve someone, maybe you, crying for the best possible reason. And once you see crying like that, it stops looking like a glitch. It stops being the wrong response to the right moment. It becomes something closer to a feature, an ancient, beautifully over-engineered feature for handling emotions too big for your face to contain. A release valve, a signal flare, a highlighter, a bond. All running through two tiny glands above your eyes, taking orders from a brain that decided, somewhere along the way, that joy was worth crying over too. Which is kind of a wild thing to be when you think about it. A creature whose body weeps not only at endings, but at beginnings. A creature whose deepest joys and deepest sorrows borrow the same face, the same water, the same quiet, trembling release. So the next time something beautiful happens and you feel that pressure climb behind your eyes, don't fight it and don't feel silly. Your nervous system is cooling itself down. Your chemistry is rebalancing. Your face is sending a flare to the people around you. Your brain is quietly highlighting this moment so future you can find it again. You're not breaking, you're underlining. That blurry-eyed feeling at the wedding, the airport, the finish line, that's not weakness leaking out. That's your body saying, in its oldest language, this one counts. If this gave your brain that little, I never thought about it that way feeling, do me a small favor, hit like and subscribe to Bodyquirk so the next quirk finds you. And tell me in the comments, do you think happy crying makes you feel closer to the people you cry with, or a little embarrassed in front of them? I'll see you in the next one, where we'll dig into another weird thing your body is doing right now without telling you.